Can you imagine spending 44 years in prison for a crime you didn't commit? This was the reality for Ronnie Long, who at just 21 years old was sentenced to life for the rape of a white woman in Concord, North Carolina. Despite a complete lack of physical evidence against him, an all-white jury convicted him, driven by the deep-seated racial biases of the time. How could such a grave miscarriage of justice happen? Let's look back at the events surrounding the attack that changed Ronnie's life. In April 1976, a woman was assaulted in her home, and the case quickly gained local attention. Initially, she described her attacker as a light-skinned black man, yet, as the investigation unfolded, police fixated on Ronnie, even though he didn't match that description. Under immense pressure to solve the case, law enforcement targeted him due to his race, ignoring clear evidence of his innocence. During his trial, it became evident that justice was not the priority. The prosecution had no physical evidence, no DNA, no fingerprints, yet they pressed on. The victim's identification of Ronnie came weeks later, heavily influenced by police suggestion. Crucially, 43 fingerprints from the crime scene did not match Ronnie's, but this information was concealed. An essential rape kit that could have exonerated him mysteriously disappeared. With an all-white jury, the outcome was predetermined: 2 life sentences, not justice but a tragic reflection of systemic bias and misconduct. Imagine the daily struggle of living in a prison cell, knowing you're innocent yet feeling utterly powerless. For 44 years, Ronnie endured life in some of North Carolina's toughest prisons, missing out on a world that evolved without him. Each day was a reminder of the injustice he faced. How do you cling to hope when it feels like everyone has forgotten you? For Ronnie, his belief in his innocence never wavered. Over the years, Ronnie fought relentlessly for his freedom, appealing his conviction repeatedly. In 2005, the Duke University Wrongful Convictions Clinic took up his case and uncovered alarming new evidence that had been suppressed during his trial. This included missing fingerprints and inconsistent witness statements. Despite the mountain of evidence supporting his innocence, the legal system was slow to react, but Ronnie persisted. In August 2020, after years of legal battles, a federal appeals court finally acted, ordering a new hearing. Shortly thereafter, Ronnie's conviction was overturned. Can you imagine hearing the words "you're free" after so many years? Ronnie stepped out of prison, but the world he returned to was drastically different. He entered as a young man full of dreams and emerged in his 60s, facing the challenge of reorienting himself to a changed society. His release was bittersweet. How do you begin to process 44 lost years? While he rejoiced in his freedom, feelings of anger, sadness, and reflection weighed heavily on him. Reuniting with family was joyous, but the pain of absence lingered. Adjusting to modern life, with technology and social norms he had missed, was daunting. How do you rebuild a life lost for so long? After his release, Ronnie didn't walk away quietly, he sought accountability. In 2021, he filed a civil lawsuit against the city of Concord and the North Carolina State Bureau of Investigation, highlighting the corruption and racial bias that led to his wrongful conviction. In 2024, he was awarded a historic $25 million settlement, one of the largest in wrongful conviction history. This settlement was more than just financial, it was an acknowledgement of the failures of the system that had wronged him. While the amount may seem substantial, what is the value of 44 years of life? Ronnie lost far more than just time. He missed countless family moments and opportunities. Consider the life experiences you've had over the last 4 decades, now imagine them taken from you. That's the reality for Ronnie. Although he is free now, the scars of his lost years will never fully heal. So what's next for Ronnie Long? Now in his 60s, he is focused on reconnecting with family and finding a sense of normalcy in his new life. The journey is challenging, but he remains determined to make the most of his remaining years. His story underscores the urgent need for justice reform and forces us to confront uncomfortable truths about racial bias and wrongful convictions. How many others are still wrongfully imprisoned, like Ronnie? What steps can we take to change the system? Ronnie Long's journey is a testament to resilience and the relentless quest for justice. After 44 years of wrongful imprisonment, his name is finally cleared, yet the impact of those lost years endures. His case serves as a stark reminder of the flaws in our justice system and the racial prejudices that persist. We must ask ourselves how many more individuals like Ronnie are out there, fighting for their freedom. His story challenges us to advocate for justice and work towards a future where fairness prevails. If you found this story compelling, please like, share, and comment below. To hear more stories like this, subscribe and turn on notifications. Together, let's ensure that stories like Ronnie's are heard.